Good evening, and thank you all for joining us this evening. Before we begin our meeting tonight, we're going to take a few moments to swear in our new board members that were elected and re-elected. And at this time, I turn the meeting over to Mr. Bass Knight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, and thank you all for joining us as we swear in our new board members this evening. At this time, I'd like to ask the Honorable Jeremy Gonzalez, Assistant Clerk of the Superior Court for Dare County, to please come forward to the podium. Mr. Gonzalez will be administering the oath of office to our board members this evening. Thank you, sir, for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Next, I would like to call Mr. Justin Bateman and his guests forward to join Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Bateman has been duly elected as a representative from District 1 to the Dare County Board of Education. He is joined by his wife, Carrie, sons Austin and Murray, and his parents, Mitchell and Connie Bateman, who will be assisting in the ceremony by holding the Bible.
Yeah.
Mama's boy.
Stand right there. You have it right.
All right, left hand on the Bible. Please raise your right. Repeat after me. I, Justin Bateman,
I, Justin Bateman,
do affirm
do affirm
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office
as
as a member of the Dare County Board of Education.
a member of the Dare County Board of Education.
So help me God.
So help me God.
If you could just please sign.
Congratulations, Mr. Bateman. Next, I would like to call Miss Lisa Lloyd and her guest forward. Ms. Lloyd has been duly elected as the representative from District 2 to the Dare County Board of Education. She is joined this evening by her husband, Anthony, who will be assisting in the ceremony by holding the Bible.
Left hand on the Bible, please raise your right. Repeat after me. I, Lisa E. Lloyd,
I, Lisa E. Lloyd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
as a member of the Dare County Board of Education.
of the Dare County Board of Education.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Sign there, please.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ms. Lloyd. Next, I would like to call Mr. Kenny Bright and his guests forward. Mr. Bright has been duly elected as the representative from District 4 to the Dare County Board of Education. He is joined this evening by his wife, Carrie, and son, Miles, who will be assisting in the ceremony by holding the Bible.
Please raise your left hand on the elbow. Please raise your right. Repeat after me. I, Kenny Bright,
I, Kenny Bright,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
as a member of the Dare County Board of Education.
as a member of the Dare County Board of Education.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, please sign.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Bright. Next, I would like to call Mr. David Twitty and his guests forward. Mr. Twitty has been duly re-elected as an at-large representative from District 5 to the Dare County Board of Education. He is joined this evening by his wife Shannon, who will be assisting in the ceremony by holding the Bible.
All right. Please repeat after me. I, David Twitty,
I, David Twitty,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United
and
States
the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the laws and Constitution of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
as a member of the Dare County Board of Education.
as the Dare County Board of Education.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Gonzalez, this concludes our ceremony this evening. Thank you so much for helping us out and administering the oath and for your service to our community. Mr. Twitty, congratulations. To those who came for the ceremony, thank you again for joining us and hope you're able to stay for the board's regular meeting. Before I call the meeting to order, I want to apologize. I'm a little under the weather, so I didn't shake a lot of hands this evening and come out and see everybody, but there's a reason for it. So please forgive me. Good evening. I'd like to call the December 9, 2024 meeting of the Dare County Board of Education to order. We are meeting in the Dare County Administrative Building in Manio, and the time is 5:07 p.m. As is customary, I will be presiding over the December meeting until a chairperson is elected. Before we begin, I would like to request a moment of silence. Amen. Thank you. Next, I would like to recognize the following Board of Commissioners who are present this evening. Chairman Woodard, Mr. Rob Ross, Mr. Mike Burris, Miss Mary Ellen Balance, and newly former member, Miss B. Bassnight. Did I miss anyone? I hope not. Thank you. Now, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mr. Matt Brower to provide the official welcome on behalf of the Board of Education.
Welcome, everybody, to our December Dare County Schools Board of Education meeting. It should be our last meeting of the calendar year, unless there's something I don't know about. Very excited to have a new board sworn in, and I look forward to working with everyone here. All that, back to you.
You got it? Is it the volume on that TV? No? Okay.
Might have been.
Oh, okay. Oh. Next, Miss Elizabeth Fairbanks, Student Advisor to the Board, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Our first order of business this evening is reorganization of the board. Therefore, I would like to open the floor for nominations for the position of Chairman of the Dare County Board of Education.
Mr. Bassnight, I'd like to nominate David Twitty as Chair of Dare County Board of Education for 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare the nominations for the position of chairman are now closed. Mr. David Twitty has been nominated for the position of chairman of the Dare County Board of Education. All in favor of electing Mr. David Twitty as chairman of the Board of Education, please indicate by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Twitty. You have been elected as chairman of the Dare County Board of Education, and I now relinquish the gavel to you to conduct the election of vice chairman.
Thank you. All good. Mine. It's all good. Next order of business is to elect a vice chairman. Therefore, do I declare the floor open to nominations for the position of the vice chair for the Dare County Board of Education.
I'd like to nominate Ron Payne, Vice Chair.
Any other nominations? There being none, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second on the floor. There being saying Mr. Payne is nominated and second on the floor by saying aye and raising your hand for Ron Payne being vice chair.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and congratulations, Mr. Payne, as being vice chair. You ready? Okay. Now, since we have a chair and vice chair of the Board of Education, I'd like to request a motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda for tonight.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Bright. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bateman. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Aye carries. So we have an agenda for tonight. Now the meeting will be moved over to public comments. And Ms. Hitch, do you have any public comments tonight?
No, sir.
Thank you. Next will be the announcements, and I'll turn the meeting back over to Mr. Bassnight, if you can hear him, bless his heart.
Oh, I can get louder. Three things that I want to bring to your attention tonight, board, as well as to the public. The first one is a new addition that we've added. Dr. Shannon Castillo, as our Director of Administrative Services and Security, has written another grant for us with this, to provide security, additional security levels in our schools. One of the items that we were able to purchase with that grant were additional AEDs. And was it seven? We purchased seven, 6 of which will be new additions, and one is a replacement for one of the AEDs that have timed out. But the primary reason that we wanted to get these is because in a lot of our buildings, we have AEDs downstairs, but we don't have access to one upstairs. So to use one, you had to go all the way downstairs and then come back, and minutes matter when you're using an AED. So we were able to place the 6 additional units in upstairs, as well as signage to be able to better locate where those are contained in the building. So we're really pleased to be able to add those to our security in our buildings. And thank you, Dr. Castillo, for your work on that. Next, I would like to recognize, read you a letter I got from the Department of Public Construction. Dear Superintendent Steve Basnight, greetings from the Department of Public Construction. We are pleased to offer our congratulations to you and your entire district for your school and district's performance during the 2023-2024 school year. We are presenting awards for achieving and exceeding expected growth and graduation rate under North Carolina's accountability system. Whether for academic growth or graduation rate, these certificates show the dedication to academic achievement in your school system of both students and educators. Please share the appreciation and congratulations from the entire Department of Public Instruction and the State Board of Education with everyone in your district. State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Catherine Truitt, Chairman, State Board of Education, Mr. Eric Davis. Congratulations to Dare County Schools. Now, I'm going to call I'd like to call each of our schools that were recognized up to the front for a photo. And the first ones will be our graduation rate. First Flight High School, Principal Joe Tyson, if you'll come up with a graduation rate of 95.6. Manio High School, Mr. John Luciano, with a graduation rate of 95.6. And Dare County Schools overall with one of the top graduation rates in the state of 94.5. Next, I would like to recognize our schools that met and or exceeded academic growth. If you would come forward when I call your name, we'll present your certificates. Schools that met academic growth. Cape Hatteras Elementary School, Principal Rachel Benton. Dare Learning Academy, Principal Latanya Murray. Manio Middle School, Principal Tammy Harper. And Nags Head Elementary School, Principal Kelly Flora. She was unable to be here tonight. So, Mr. Chairman, if you'll accept that for her, that would be great. We also had 3 schools who exceeded academic growth. First Flight Middle School, Principal Diane Childress. Kitty Hawk Elementary School Principal Lisa Colvin. And for a return trip, Manual High School Principal John Luciano. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our recognition and announcements for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bass Knight. At this time, the board will take a short recess so we could, yes. Yes, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Skylar and I'm from the First Flight District and I will be sharing the highlights. So first off, for Kitty Hawk Elementary School, KHES continues to catch the wave of kindness. Our SCA created an interactive bulletin board full of affirmations for students and staff to take as needed. Parents are supporting local KHES families this season through Operation Christmas Wish. In our hallway, as a wall of honor acknowledging many staff and student family members who are military veterans. We are currently planning a school-wide literacy, music, and art event this month, and a special guest star will read the Polar Express to all of our students. Next, I have First Flight Elementary School. First Flight Elementary School celebrated World Kindness Day on November 13th. Kindness is a big part of living the KSCRP way. Students were involved in kindness activities, read books about kindness, spread kindness around the school, and took their picture being the I in kind. Our Monday tutoring with Collington Church and First Flight High School students has started, and we have 18 students who are staying after school every Monday to work with our National Honor Society student volunteers from First Flight High School. The focus for this tutoring support is math, and it is great to see our elementary students growing and learning with the support of our First Flight High School students. A big thank you to Miss West, the FFES AIG teacher, who has started 2 after-school enrichment clubs with lots of student participation. She has started the 24 Challenge Club every Tuesday for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students, and a chess club every Thursday for kindergarten through 5th grade students. We are excited about the after-school opportunities we are providing for our students. First Flight Middle School. At First Flight Middle, we held our first PTO dance last month. The theme was fall back in the summer, and while the temperatures dropped, our students didn't mind. They showed up in summer gear and had a blast. We had over 400 students in attendance. There was eating, socializing, a limbo contest, photos, and tons of dancing. We were very proud to see all of our students engaging appropriately and having a super time, also with the help of our SGA student leaders, our SGA sponsor, Ms. Franz, and our career development coordinator, Ms. Bassnight. We held our first student service project. We organized a book drive over a 2-week period. Our goal was to collect new and gently used books for local preschools and elementary schools that were affected by Hurricane Helene in Western Carolina. We collected so many books that the tables could barely hold them all. The books have been bagged up and will be delivered to the distribution center just north of Banner Elk on the 15th of December. Another success for our school was our first round of learning walks. Our technology facilitator and our teaching and learning facilitator had teachers choose two teachers to visit during their planning during a 2-week window. After the visits, they shared their shout outs of strategies or best practices that they learned. At this week's professional development session, we shared shout outs, shared ideas, and collaborated. They were amazing. And lastly, I have First Flight High School. It has been a very exciting month at First Flight High School as we continue to soar to new heights. Our Career and Technical Education Department celebrated the grand opening of the Take Flight Cafe coffee shop, where students are gaining invaluable hands-on experience in customer service and business management. Additionally, our theater arts program, led by Ms. Penn, delivered a stunning production of Radium Girls, showcasing the incredible talent and dedication of our students on stage and behind the scenes. On top of all that, our fall athletics teams had an incredible season, with players demonstrating exceptional skills, sportsmanship, and school spirit. These achievements highlight the diverse opportunities for our school to excel and embody our mission to take flight. Thank you for your continued support of First Flight High School, and thank you.
Good evening, Board. I'm Toby Fleckenstein, and I'm from the Manio School District. I'll be going over the highlights from my schools. Starting off, Nags Head Elementary School. Nags Head Elementary celebrated our veterans in their first ever Veterans Day performance. Students created artwork inspired by veteran artists, and families were encouraged to send in photos and names of those that could not be with us. Members of each military branch came out for this event. Also, Nags Head Elementary is collecting non-perishable food items to be donated to a local food bank for the holiday. They will be accepting food items until December 20th, so please consider donating. Lastly, NHES would like to wish everyone a wonderful holiday and a Happy New Year. Next, Manio Elementary School. Manio Elementary School is continuing their mission to rise to any challenge. Most recently, they partnered up with the school nutrition staff to create 5th grade Culinary Arts Connection, utilizing the CTE Transformation Kit grants that were donated to the building. Additionally, several cultural learning events have taken place, including a virtual exchange with Columbia in 4th grade and a demonstration of Christmas in Columbia for kindergarten and 1st grade. Also, over the past weeks, their school has held classroom boot camps that take place in kindergarten and a balloon over Broadway parade around the building for 3rd graders after they completed the book as a grade level. Next, please save the date for a 2nd grade family engagement event taking place on Tuesday, December 17th, where parents will be welcomed into the building to learn and experience their walk to read learning model in 2nd grade. Manio Elementary would like to give a big thank you to Rack Room Shoes and their guidance counselor, Miss Thornley, for helping to make their shoe night a huge success on December 5th. Over 40 families showed up and were given free shoes and socks. Manio Elementary is grateful for their partnerships like Scholastic, which provided 2,500 books to students through the book fair this past week. They're also grateful for their partnership with Community for Kids and the local police department for helping get clothes to students. Lastly, they would like to thank the amazing DARE Education Foundation. This year, they had 4 teachers awarded with grants for Spanish social emotional books, translation devices, library books to enhance their collection, and art display panels for all 5 elementary schools. Way to go, Senorita Martinez, Senorita Chavez, Mrs. O, and Mrs. Daniels. Manio Elementary would like to thank the DEF and Board of Education. They hope you all have a great and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Next, Manio Middle School. Marcus Simmons, a senior at Manio High School, recently completed his Eagle Scout project at MMS. He organized a large project to clean out and reestablish their rain garden. He had over 50 volunteers show up to tear out trees and rebuild the boardwalk. Also, he had the rain garden signage updated. Lastly, ECS teacher Allison Rhodes received a special grant through the DARE Education Foundation for her library section for exceptional needs students. Lastly, Manio High School. The American Math Contest was administered at Manio High School on November 6th. The top finishers were Julian Alvarez for AMC 12 and Noah Bell for AMC 10. Also, the DECA regional competition is taking place this month, and everyone is thrilled. Next, National Honor Society leaders assisted with the Manio Middle School National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony on November 19th. The NHS also hosted a blood drive. Avid students hosted a successful Avid Market and look forward to making it an annual tradition. Manio High School's SGA sponsored 5 families for Thanksgiving dinner. Thanks to our amazing community, we had extra to donate and distribute among other families in need. Our National Art Honor Society recently completed a crosswalk mural in collaboration with NAGSED. The theme of their design is Under the Sea. Members and sponsors spent multiple weekends designing and creating the mural, which is located on the corner of Bonnet Street and Wrightsville Avenue. Through this project, NAHS members had the opportunity to contribute to their community while earning art-centered service hours, which is a requirement of membership. Students are also making the building an even more cheery place by decorating classroom doors. Last but not least, teachers are feeling the love with our 12 Days of Christmas, thanks to local community support, donations, and student organizations. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Fairbanks. I'm from Hatteras. So firstly, the DARE Learning Academy students participated in a Dolphin for a Day field trip to the COA DARE campus. They learned about all types of programs that all of the COA campuses offer and the DARE Guarantee Scholarship opportunity. They also got to attend several classes as students, including English, HVAC, welding, and EMT. It was a fun trip and several students are interested in enrolling post-graduation. Next is Cape Hatteras Secondary School. This month has been filled with fantastic achievements and community spirit at CHSS. Our drama club delivered an amazing premiere performance of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, with most performances selling out and showcasing the students' incredible talent. Our Hurricane Special Olympic team traveled to Charlotte for the state championship and competition. We are very proud of our athletes for bringing home the silver medal in the state competition for buckyball. Our high school student government collected and sent 3 pallets filled with holiday decorations to support families in Western North Carolina. Likewise, our AVID, CTE, and school-wide classes are actively competing in our annual tree decorating contest, with trees decorated in themes ranging from musical, book themes, to Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. Students and staff are voting on the CHSS Tree of the Year, using coins brought in to donate to be used to purchase gifts for a local angel tree recipient from our island. All decorated trees from the contest will be distributed to those in our community who are not able to decorate or afford a tree, spreading joy during the holiday season. Lastly is Cape Hatteras Elementary School, where our recent One School, One Book program, where our entire school read Charlotte's Web, culminated a vibrant literacy night event on Friday, November 22nd. Literacy Night showcased the power of shared reading experiences and community engagement. Each student produced a unique writing piece inspired by Charlotte's Web, which demonstrated the students' deep engagement with the text and their ability to express their thoughts and interpretations creatively. This initiative brought together students, families, and educators in a celebration of literacy and creativity. We ended the evening with over 150 students and their families gathered in the gym to watch the film adaptation of our One School, One Book selection, Charlotte's Web. And that's all.
Thank y'all so much. Wonderful job and a lot of amazing things going on in Dare County Schools. So appreciate y'all's report. Now we'll take a few minutes for a recess so the new candidates and the family members can take a picture of everyone and a group picture as well. So. like to call the meeting back to order. At this time, do I have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda?
I have a motion to. I move we approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Brower. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Payne. Any further discussion? All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Aye carries. Next report and items of information. And we're going to hear from Mr. Marcus Simmons about his Eagle Scout project at Manio Middle School. Welcome, Mr. Simmons.
Good evening, Board of Education members. My name is Marcus Simmons. I'm a current senior at Manio High School, and I'm also an Eagle Scout candidate with Troop 116 that's chartered out of Kettleville Hills in North Carolina. And I'm just here to briefly share with you guys about my Eagle Scout project. So a little bit about Scouts. I've been in Scouts since I was 6 years old. I started in Cub Scouts, and then I progressed into Boy Scouts when I was 11. Once you're into Boy Scouts, it's a youth-led group, and we do a lot of community service. We do a lot of camping trips. We get to go out and serve the community all the time. And it's been a big part of my life. It's really helped me develop my leadership skills and just become a better person in general. And then in order to become so the first thing that we did was we did get the signage replaced in this rain garden. As you can see on the left of this slide, the sign is very worn. It's old. It doesn't look great. And then on the right is the new sign that we were able to put in, which looks a lot nicer. And it demonstrates and shows what rain gardens do for grounds. And then here's a few photos of all of our workers. We had over 50 volunteers out between the two work days. This is just them working. Everybody out there put in a lot of hours and worked really hard. And I truly appreciate them being able to assist me with this project. Here's a picture of the loop. So it is the loop where the buses go around at the middle school. This is the biggest piece of the rain garden. It is extremely overgrown. As you can see on the left, you can't see through the rain garden at all. And then on the right, after we were done throughout 2 work days, you can see through the rain garden, and it's a lot more cleared up. Here's just another photo of the loop. This is once we did a little bit of cutting on the left, but not much. And then on the right side is when we fully finished our cutting and our clearing. And you can also see that sign is the same sign. However, we just painted it white. It gives it a little bit more of a vibrant look and really helps it pop out. The second part was the strip, is what I like to call it, but it is the piece parallel to the parking lot that is also a rain garden. It's a smaller rain garden, but it was also very overgrown. As you can see on the left, you can't see through it. You can't see the road on the other side. And then on the right, after we were finished, you can see Manio Middle School clearly, and you can see straight through this area. We also installed a new sign in the strip as well. It is the same sign as the first one, just in a different location. And this is also very beneficial for traffic in the middle school so that you may see everything and you're not blocked by trees. The trees are also no longer scraping individuals' vehicles. And then the biggest part of the project was the replacement of the boardwalk. This boardwalk was in dire need of repair. It was very worn down. The teachers do cross this boardwalk every day to get to school. So it was great that we were able to replace that along with clearing out that area. A lot of people I want to recognize and thank really quickly. But first off, I want to thank Bob Woodard, the county commissioner chairman. He was able to get the materials donated by county funds for the boardwalk, and we're very appreciative of that. I also want to thank David Overton and Shanna Fulmer with the Dare County Public Works. They were able to get us dumpsters placed on site, and then they also dumped them for free, and they allowed that to happen for us. I also want to thank Jim Gallagher with Grounds Pros Landscaping. They had a landscaping crew out there almost all day Saturday. They did a great job. They were able to help us clear the big trees and use power tools that we wouldn't be able to do. I also want to thank Alfred Jackson with Beach Bends LLC. They were the ones that replaced the boardwalk. They put in the labor for that all day Saturday and part of the day Sunday. So big shout out to them. I also want to thank Miss Sarah Hallis with the North Carolina Coastal Federation. She was the one that guided me on what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to clean out this rain garden properly. And a big thank you to her. I also want to thank the Troop 116 members that came out from my troop. They've been great. They've been with me for a long time, and I really appreciate them helping with that project. I also want to thank community volunteers for being out there. And then last but not least, I want to thank Manio Middle School Principal, Miss Tammy Harper. She was awesome. She allowed us use of the bathrooms, and she was very excited about the completion of this project. I also want to thank Mr. David Twitty and Mr. Bassnight for their support of this project. They were also very motivational in this completion. And I want to thank everybody for letting me speak tonight. Thank you.
Marcus. Thank you. Marcus. Come back up here, please. Stand right there, please. Up to the mic. Thank you. It's okay. Thank you for your dedication and hard work in making this project really lively. And I hope it done well for your program. But I'm gonna open the floor up to the board members for Marcus. Y'all have any questions for him tonight?
I don't have any questions. I'm impressed.
Thank you,
You
sir.
got all this done. 50 volunteers, put all this together. You got a bright future ahead of you, young man. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I would like to congratulate him also. Not many people obtain the rank of Eagle Scout. And it's like you never were an Eagle Scout, you always are an Eagle Scout. So just congratulations.
Thank you.
Very impressed.
Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Board members, if you have not ridden through Manio Middle School, I highly recommend you do that. It night and day different
It's very nice.
when you drive in there. We really appreciate it, Marcus. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is Miss Margaret Lauer. She's going to give us an update and report on Food for Thoughts. In your brochures, you have a handout that Miss Lauer sent to me to present. But before she begins tonight, I just want to thank her for her dedication and service for Dare County Schools Board of Education for many, many years. So, Ms. Lauer, welcome.
Thank you for asking me to come and explain or tell you about Food for Thought for those of you that might not be familiar with it. We are in our 18th year of providing food for kids on weekends. We get our kids from the free and reduced group, and the parents that are within that group sign a waiver leaving the school held harmless in case your kids get something they're allergic to. And we couldn't do that without the help of Deanie Midget, because she coordinates all that, and every week will tell us what schools have what numbers. We don't get names, we just get numbers. So right now we are packing 330 kids a week. That's in the elementary and middle. High school don't really want to take a bag of food home. So a lot of times I'll take cases of mac and cheese or tuna fish, and they can take that. And we also offer gift cards to the high schools, or any of the schools, but the high schools really take advantage of that for their students that are in high need. So we were doing that for many years, and then the schools approached us and asked us, could we help with snacks? As everybody knows, from pre-K to 5, they have a snack time every day, and some parents don't send a snack, and the teachers go out and buy those. So we were happy to do that, and it's become a big deal for us. My back bedroom looks like Costco. So, and then we started with hygiene. So we send toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, anything that the kids need. And that's been a very big success. And before the schools began, we'd sent a lot of school supplies and a lot of headphones. The teachers wanted those for the kids because you can't share those at all. Every year we send Food Line gift cards home before Christmas and Easter because we know we're not going to see the kids for a week or 2 weeks. And we're getting ready to do that this week. And we will give every student a $50 gift card from Food Lion. And I only use Food Lion because you can get a card that you can't buy alcohol or tobacco with it. And there are enough Food Lions all over. And I've asked the different schools, would you like another grocery store? And they say, no, your best deal is Food Lion. So that's rewarding for the kids. And 2 years ago, individual approached us and wanted to make an anonymous donation because they wanted kids to come to school ready to be students, feel comfortable and have the right clothes and the right shoes and right coats if they need it. And that has been very well received. And as you can see, we spent $9,000 on that last year. And the feedback from that, from Robin Vermillion, who is the social worker for the beach, is one of my best customers. And she said the feedback has been that a lot of the kids, their attendance has improved. So I do mainly I do all the grades, and I do not do high school. I tell the guidance counselors, tell them to go online, pick out what they like, send me the link, and I'll order it and send it back, because I can do a fifth grader or a third grader. There's no way I can figure out what high school kids like. And so this year I've done 24 pair of shoes already. So we are very blessed to have a lot of wonderful people helping us. We like to think that we have the best volunteers in Dare County. We have people come from Duck to Hatteras and all of Roanoke Island. And we like to brag that we do not pay anybody anything to be on our board. So all the donations we get go to what our project is for. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you all for what you do for the schools. I appreciate that. So here we go. And take a look at this. It's very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lauer. Any questions for Ms. Lauer? Anything? Okay. Thanks again for the report. Now we'll turn the report information over to Mr. Bassnight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call our Director of Transportation, Mr. Alex Chandler, up to the podium. We're not going to ask him to do a keynote for us tonight, but he can, just so you know. Marking 75 years of existence, the 16th National Congress on School Transportation will meet again in the spring of 2025. The Congress meets approximately every 5 years to review transportation law and set policies and specifications for all 50 states. At the first Congress's meeting in 1939, the following statement was developed on the importance of pupil transportation. The safe and economical transportation of nearly at that time 4 million children to and from school every day of the school year is a matter of first importance to millions of parents, thousands of school board members in all parts of our nation. In 1938, there were 86,099 school buses in operation. The recommendations and specifications and procedures for school buses and their operation has been a major purpose of all Congresses. Each Congress has made up of official representatives of state departments of education, public safety, motor vehicles, police, and other state agencies having statewide responsibilities for administering of school transportation, local school district personnel, contract operators, advisors from industry, and representatives from other interested professional organizations and groups. Every Congress has resulted in one or more publications that contain the recommendations of that respective conference. 76 years later, the pupil transportation industry is providing safe, effective, efficient, and healthy transportation for more than 25 million school children who ride more than 480,000 school buses each day. In addition, millions of school children ride school buses to and from activities and field trips every year. These services continue to provide the safest way to and from school. This evening, I am thrilled to announce that our own Dare County Schools Director of Transportation, Mr. Alex Chandler, has been asked to represent the state of North Carolina in Iowa at the 2025 National Congress on School Transportation in May. I am positive that they have chosen the absolute best person to represent our district and our state. Congratulations, Alex.
Thank you, sir. Come on, Mr. Chandler, come up here.
Mr.
Come
Chairman,
here, Mr. Chandler.
You know you're not going to get away with
No,
that.
you're not gonna get away with it.
Not a chance.
30 seconds, that's too much. No. I'm opening it to the floor.
Mr. Chairman, may I do a little testimony about Mr. Chandler here?
What?
Recently, I had a little bit of a situation with transportation. My littlest is in EC classes at Manny Elementary School.
Cut the
And,
mic, cut the mic.
Go ahead, my apologies.
But there was a little bit of a situation with the transportation getting him to and from school because it's an oddball time. His classes are in the middle of the day. It's not like we drop him off at 8 o'clock, pick him up at 3 or whatnot. It's at different times. And I was having some issues trying to get him to and from. And of course, with the help of the EC coordinators and everything like that, and Mr. Chandler, we were able to get him to and from school. Mr. Chandler, he called me a couple times and he's like, Justin, there's an app that you can download that will track the vehicle. It'll let you know when your child's been picked up. It'll let you know when they've been dropped off. It's called EverDriven. And I love it because it alerts me when he is picked up from where he is during the week, dropped off at the school, picked up from the school and taken home. And, Mr. Chandler jumped through hoops to make sure that was, everything was accommodated there. So, yeah, this is definitely well deserved for you to go to Iowa and represent the entire state, Mr. Chandler. It's definitely awesome stuff. It's good stuff, man. When you walked up, I was like, I got to say this. So, congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other comments from any other board members? Congratulations, Ms. Chandler. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. However, we have no unfinished business to discuss this evening, so we'll move over to new business. And I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Paul Carson from the Anderson, Smith, and White to present the 2023-2024 audit report. Welcome, sir. And Mr. Rashad, our interim finance officer, will be assisting him tonight. That's all right.
Let me get those handed out. Well, good evening, board members. Dr. Bass-Knight, or Ms. Bass-Knight, sorry. I hope you're doing well. And as you're seeing, I think Rashad said he'd sent out the electronic copy. I know the new board members wouldn't have that. But just while he's doing that, just this will be the June 30th, 2024 audited financial statements that we've issued. And the financial statements cover two main areas that we audit and issue reports on. The first being the financial section, which is the first 60 pages of the audit report, followed by the compliance section, which starts on page 61. Now, there's just a couple of pages of financial information that I'll ask you to turn to, and then we'll go over. But first, and there's no reason to turn there unless you want to, but on pages 1 through 3 is of the report is the audit opinion letter that we issued on the financial section of the audit. And we are happy to report that this is a clean, unmodified opinion, which means that we feel the financial information contained in the report is reliable and free of any material misstatements. That's the highest level of assurance that we can provide and exactly what the board wants to receive. Now, the first page I would ask you to turn to, we'll look at page 13, and we'll look at Exhibit 3. Now, Exhibits 3 and 4 are essentially the balance sheet and income statement for all of your governmental funds. These schedules show the fund balance and fund activities on a fund-by-fund basis. And in the first column on page 13, the next to last number at the bottom of the page, you see that the general fund balance as of June 30th, 2024 was $1,184,056, which is a decrease of about $831,000 from the amount reported at June 30th, 2023. And as we read across, you'll see that other current expense had an ending fund balance of $2,741,822. Capital outlay had an ending fund balance of $1,527,246. And individual schools had an ending fund balance of $664,139. And as we've emphasized over the past several years, we want to keep emphasizing that we do feel as the district, it is necessary for the district to have extra funds and cash reserves, especially with the federal COVID relief funds now having officially expired. With rising costs, minimum wage increases, health insurance increases, things like that, those costs are going to start to weigh more heavily on school districts. And we have seen districts, throughout the state spend down their fund balance. But it is, again, something we want to encourage y'all to, balance the budgets, maintain fund balance, and the cash reserves on hand. And two, there's cash flow purposes in which those are necessary. But overall, these funds do appear to be in decent financial condition as of June 30th, 2024. Are there any questions on this before we move on? Okay. And the next page I'll ask you to turn to, we'll look at page 59 and look at the school food service fund. Now, this schedule shows, much like the last one, it shows the revenues, expenses, and change in net position or fund balance for the school food service fund. And in the middle column, about 3/4 of the way down the page, you'll see that the program reported a loss of $373,953. And the previous year, they reported a loss of $136,000. So that is a decline in profitability of $238,000. And that decline from the prior, in profitability from the prior year was primarily due to increased food cost as well as increased salaries and benefits. Cash balances in the program were $252,000 at year end, which was a decrease of $353,000 for the year. And for the fiscal year ended 6/30/23, cash balances had declined, had declined $147,000. And we've discussed these losses in the program with management. And it's our understanding that they're looking at ways to increase profitability. However, we do want to caution the board that if profitability doesn't improve, it could be possible that the general fund would need to subsidize the school food service fund. Is there any questions before we move on? Okay, and we'll flip over to the next page and we'll look at page 60. And this is the child care. We'll look at the child care fund. And about halfway down the page, you'll see in the middle column as well, the program reported a loss of $22,397. In the previous year, child care reported a profit of $218,000. So that is a decline in profitability of about $240,000. Now that decline from the prior year was primarily due to a reduction in COVID-19 stabilization funds from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. But the child care program reported cash balances at year end of $583,000, which was a decrease of $196,000 for the year. But overall, the program appears to be in sound financial condition as of June 30th, 2024. Are there any questions for me? Okay. Now, a significant portion of our audit is related to testing the board's internal controls and compliance with various state and federal laws and regulations, primarily pertaining to state and federal grant funding received by the district. And starting on page 67 is the schedule of findings and question costs related to our compliance and internal control testing. We did report or note one finding, which is reported on page 68. And that finding 24.01 relates to expenditures being incurred in the school food service fund that exceeded appropriations by $178,000. And the reason being were that budget amendments were not prepared when needed due to a lack of oversight of the budgetary process. And we just recommend that budget amendments be prepared as needed. And this is something we will follow up on as part of the June 30th, 2025 audit. We also issued a management letter. It's just one page, and I think that should be in your notebooks, either in the front or the back, in the bound copies. You know,
It's separately.
Oh, it's in the front. Okay, yeah, it's separate in the front. But I didn't plan on going over that report in detail unless there were any specific questions related to that. And that letter just gives you just a matter in which there was an opportunity for the board. We felt the opportunity for the board to strengthen their internal controls and operating efficiencies. Are there any questions on that one before we move on? Okay.
I have a question about, on page 68, you were talking
Yes, sir.
about the budget amendment
Yes, sir.
process.
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on?
Well, it's just that, so, budgets are approved by the Board of Education, then they're amended throughout the year.
Sure.
And those should be done prior to expenditures being incurred. I think in this instance, there were some expenditures that were done prior to those budget amendments being brought to the Board of Education. I think it was just an oversight within the department. And I think, Rashad can maybe speak more to that, but that's what happened.
Was there a specific part of the budget?
No, man, it was just
overall?
the school food service fund.
Food, okay.
Yeah, it was food service. Yeah,
Okay.
Fund 5.
All
Yeah.
right. And with this, with our commissioners that have stepped up to the plate this year of assisting us with our food service with the universal meal, this should certainly, Mr. Beth Knight certainly should assist us in this not happen again, correct?
My understanding, Mr. Chairman, and we've met on this, is a budget amendment that you regularly deal with in your consent agenda didn't get from one individual to the next individual to make it to a board meeting.
Okay.
And that's
It
why
happens.
that number, and that's what he's describing. But having said that, already met with Kalita and Rashad, and they are already working on a plan with recommendations of things that they're going to improve on this semester to address those issues. So we're already well ahead of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Are there any other questions? No? All right, and we also issued a separate 3-page letter that would be separate as well, that details specific audit items that were required to communicate to the board about. This letter basically just has boilerplate language. It discusses that there were no difficulties or disagreements encountered in dealing with management during the audit. There were no uncorrected misstatements noted, and there were no other reportable issues noted during the audit. But overall, we felt the audit went very smoothly this year, and the district appears to be in decent financial condition as of year end. Financially, the district appears to be very well managed, and the finances are very transparent. I'd like to thank Mr. Daniels and the entire finance department staff for all their hard work in helping us complete the audit. As I kind of alluded to, we do a lot of testing with, various grants that the board receives. And while we do touch other departments, really the audit rests about 95% or so on finance department to pull those items together for us in order to complete the audit and to complete it timely. And so they did a fantastic job with that. And we do really appreciate that because that does not happen everywhere. So we're very thankful for your finance department and for Mr. Daniels. Does anybody have any questions for me before we wrap things up?
Before you do, Mr. Carson, I would like to share with our 3 new board members tonight. Like y'all seen on page 13, with all due respect, the auditor is doing their job and speaking that our fund balance should be a little bit more than we currently have. But just to share with the public and our new 3 board members that we certainly have a working agreement with our county commissioners that we keep $1 million in our fund balance. Anything other than that will return to their account, but they've always been there for us in the past and stepped up to the plate. So with that agreement with the current commissioners and with how we've done over the last 10 plus years, that's how we have been willing to do that. So with his respect and his job to do is asking for us to go over that, but with the local school board and the commissioners, we agreed to keep $1 million in the fund balance. But thanks again for your reporting on that.
Well, and we appreciate, again, working with y'all, and we look forward to working with y'all again next year. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Carson?
I'd just like to say thank you to Rashad and his team. It's been kind of a hit and miss in the finance department, staffing wise and everything over the last couple of years anyway. So great job, Rashad.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Wicker, very much.
With a report from Mr. Carson and Mr. Daniels, do I have a motion on the floor to accept the 2023-2024 audit report that was presented tonight?
Yeah, I move we accept the audit report 2023-2024 audit report as presented.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Wicker, second by
Second.
Mr. Bright. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Aye carries. Thank you. Next, I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Blackstock to present the first reading of proposed school calendar, and it's the first year that we're going to have 2 different types of calendars in Dare County schools.
Your first board meeting, you get an audit and a
And a
calendar
calendar,
presentation.
isn't that something?
It doesn't get any better than that. So this is up for first reading tonight. We wanted to present to you a couple of proposed calendars, a traditional calendar and a early college calendar, because we'll be introducing our first class of early college students in the fall. We meet with our superintendent's advisories from the parent advisory, the student advisories, the certified teacher advisories, and classified staff advisories, and school administrators to look at these calendars to get input. And then present to you for that very same input. So before we look at the calendars, I'm going to give you just the quick primer, I guess, on the legislative requirements. We can do anything we want with an academic calendar as long as we do the stuff the legislature says we have to follow. So I'm going to talk you through those. And hopefully, yeah, they're on your screen. Good. We are not allowed by state law to start school before the Monday closest to August 26th. So it could be as early as the 23rd or the 29th, depending on how the calendar falls. We also have to be finished by the Friday closest to June 11th. There are a couple of exceptions, probably something that we're not going to see, because basically the rules are you have to miss 8 instructional days in 4 of the last 10 school years. And all the schools have to be closed on the same 8 days. So what we run into is we might get a year or two where Hatteras is closed for 8 days, but if the northern schools aren't, then that doesn't help us qualify. And keep in mind, these 8 days are after, most likely after we've used up our remote instructional days. We are allowed to use 5 remote instructional days for inclement weather as well. So we're talking at a year where all of our schools are closed for 13 days, 4 out of the last 10 years. And that thankfully hasn't happened for us, at least I don't think in the last 25 years, to be honest with you, for 4 years. So that's the thing. And if you'll notice, typically the counties that do qualify are west, northwest, they're snow counties. So it's not just because, it's Dare County, it's because we're not in the west or the northwest, because that's where the snow happens. Yeah, so those are the ones that qualified 2 years ago.
Steve, let me say
Yes.
a couple things about that. One, unlike the last 2 days that we've been out, weather systems tend to hit Hatteras a lot more often than they do our northern beaches. So tide, wind is much more typical on that end. And so they may have tide days that we're not affected up here at all. So those days wouldn't count at all. And I want to reiterate something Steve just said about remote days. Remote days can only be used, those 5 days the state grants us, for weather. You can't just decide to have a remote day, or you can't say we're out of school and today's going to be remote. They have to be weather related in order to get those 5 days from the state. Sorry.
No worries. We are not permitted to ask for educational waiver. And we can't go to the legislature and say, we think educationally it would help our district to be able to start here and end here. The law doesn't allow that. It has to cover 9 calendar months. That's usually pretty easy to do. It's hard to create a calendar that doesn't cover 9 calendar months with the other requirements. We have to have a minimum of 185 instructional days or 1,025 instructional hours. I think every district goes with hour calculations instead of days, but because when they restrict when you can start and they restrict when you have to be done, it's hard to meet all the requirements and still get 185 school days and still have breaks at Christmas and the things that we've gotten used to having. So we typically go with the hours because it gives us more flexibility. We do have up to 5 remote days for inclement weather, and those remote days count as full instructional days. So if we have to call a remote day, which we try to do first, if students can access computers, if weather is not so bad that they can do those, remote days, we try to use those first before we start converting student days to non-student days because of weather. We have to have at least 9 teacher work days. We always have more than that, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. Local boards we have to designate 2 of those as optional work days, which is kind of a North Carolina parlance, but North Carolina gives annual leave to teachers, and you have to provide at least 2 optional days they can actually use that leave. The other days, we have to have 10 vacation leave days. So North Carolina gives teachers 10 vacation leave days and then tells them when they have to take them. It's just kind of an unusual North Carolina thing. I think it was a budget thing about 15 years ago, and somebody thought it was a good idea. And I'm sure it was. We have to have the same number of legal holidays as other state employees. We don't accept July 4th because school's not in session. So we have 11 state holidays. We can't have school on a Sunday. We can have school on Saturday, but we tried that a while back and that wasn't wonderful, but we did it. Veterans Day, this is interesting. In North Carolina, Veterans Day has to be a holiday for staff and students. We can't make it a work day. We can't, make up a snow day on Veterans Day. It's got to be a day off. No other holiday is designated that way. I'm not going to say we should have school on Christmas, but we could and still be within the calendar law. Just fun fact. Calendar day has to be 215 days. And this is the most complicated part of it. The first day a teacher can show up to work until the last day a teacher can show up to work, if you count up all the Monday through Fridays, that has to be 215. So you can't just take a day out. You can't just cut a day off at the end. You can't just say, okay, we're going to skip this day, because somewhere that's got to be accounted for. And that's in legislation. Teachers have to have a 215-day contract. Can't be 214, can't be 216. And then the calendars that I'm going to show you in just a minute, I wanted to just go through their abbreviations on them. We designate the first and last day. This year, for the first time, we'll designate the first day of college, FDC, the first day of classes at COA, because that's even more relevant with our opening the early college. Optional work days when teachers can take leave, required work days when they can't take vacation leave. You can still take sick leave. Holidays, early dismissal days, leave days when, again, teachers are required to use vacation leave. Required workday for parent conferences, required workday for professional learning. And then once the calendars are approved, the administration goes back in and puts in when the grading periods end and report cards and interim reports like that. This is all in your packet, so you can review this, the calendar. This is the traditional calendar. And it looks largely like the current school year calendar. There were very few changes. A couple of things to note. If you look to November, the 11th of November is on a Tuesday. And all of our advisories, everybody looked at that Monday and thought that's going to be rough. We're going to have low attendance on that day because parents are going to take a long weekend. We're going to have all these issues, and trying to figure out what to do on the 10th of November with the 11th off. And we came up with making that the conference day. A lot of our teachers are doing conferences by Zoom, by phone call and all that. So we figured even if folks were out of town, we could still do conferences. So that's kind of where that landed. We have traditionally offered an optional workday before Thanksgiving, just because of our remote location, to give folks some time to travel for Thanksgiving if they need to do that. At the end, the first semester will end in December, which is a new thing for this current year calendar. The administrators asked for this, and we decided to give this a try for 2 years, to have our exams before Christmas break instead of doing all the instruction, giving kids 2 weeks off not to think about school and then bringing them back to take their exams. We decided to push those up. The problem with that is that it causes the first semester to be about 10 days shorter than usual, and the second semester to be about 10 days longer than usual. So that's some teachers are struggling with that. But I was talking with some folks at the basketball games at First Light this past weekend, and they're like, yeah, we're really struggling to get everything in. And I said, well, we might have to revisit that. So, oh no, we don't want exams after Christmas. I'm just saying we're struggling. They don't want to make that change back, but it really is kind of difficult to get everything in there before Christmas time. So since that's the end of the semester, returning in January, there's a required workday on the 5th. For the semester changeover, especially for high schools for scheduling and all those kinds of things.
Let me say something about the before and after too.
Okay.
We're really only talking about affecting the high schools.
Yeah.
Because the elementary schools are in the same classes all year long. It's the high schools that have to end a class and start a class. And that's really the one that the calendar affects the most. The middle and elementary schools are pretty much just continuing, unless some specials change in middle school. They're continuing to do the same class year long.
Let me see where else. Oh, so February, the conference day for February is on the federal holiday on the 16th, and professional learning on the 9th of February, which may or may not be the day after Super Bowl. March, there's an optional workday at the end of the third 9 weeks, spring break in April. Last day of school is the 5th of June. And I can, well, let me just go through. I'll show you how all these are set up and then give you a chance to ask any questions. This next page is just my, an internal view of my messed up brain. But what I try to do is make sure that we have exactly 215 days as required by law. The only variables in that are really the top two lines that you're looking at. We have the student days and the work days. If we take a student day away, we have to make it a work day. If we add a student day, we'll have to take a work day away. The other two are pretty fixed. And then the bottom section is to calculate all the instructional minutes and hours. And the calendar as presented provides 7+ days of extra instructional hours. So if we really get into a mess with storms or whatever, that gives us flexibility on how to reschedule that if we need to do that. But keep in mind, we're talking about 7 days in addition to the 5 remote days. And a lot of times, if there's a catastrophic situation like happened in the western part of the state, the legislature will come in and waive the requirements if it gets too unwieldy. So I feel like that's a good place to be in terms of the bank time and the remote time. And then the early college calendar is next. And there are really only 3 differences between this and what the traditional was. First of all, the teachers start on August 1st and students start on August 7th. So that's a pretty big difference. Idea being is you want the students there to get oriented to the school year. Well, you know, so you have time to get them ready for the first day of college classes, which is on the 18th of August. So they'll start earlier, and it also helps to equalize their semesters so they're not as lopsided as in our traditional calendar. They can get a 90-day semester in before winter break as opposed to 78, I think, in the traditional. The other difference is that they finish on May 22nd. People always say, oh, when I was in school, we always finished before Memorial Day. Well, they always seem to start after Labor Day and finish before Memorial Day. I never figured out how they could do that. But this calendar does that, but they also start at the beginning of August. So there's that. And then the final difference really is the early dismissal days. If you look through, every Friday is set up as an early dismissal. And that is not early dismissal for staff. It's early dismissal for the students to provide staff professional development to really learn and embrace the early college model, which is significantly different than what a traditional high school model looks like. And so this is, and I'm going to let Mr. Basnight, I know, is going to want to speak about this, but I'll just say a couple of quick things. You know, this is professional development that is designed at the school level typically to make sure that the students are meeting all the special needs that go with early college models and helping the coordination with college courses and all those kinds of things. So that's really an essential part of an early college calendar. And because they start early, don't have the restriction of the ending and the starting dates, there's enough instructional time to do that. I'll go to the next page in a minute. They're not banking quite as much time, but that's going to be okay, I think. The other thing to note is that once all of our kids in school, the schedules line up. You know, one early college doesn't have a day off when the regular, is in session, because we want to try to be sensitive to the needs of families. The numbers on that one are on this last page here. And if you look all the way to the bottom, this banks 4.5 days instead of the 7 you saw on the other calendar. And that's okay. I think if we get into a bind, we're going to know it either at the end of hurricane season or by April when the snow season, as if that's a thing here anymore, but the snow season might happen. And we can just convert half days to full days if we need to pick up instructional time if we had to do that. So I feel pretty good about those numbers as well. So that's a whole lot of numbers, maybe even more than the audit guy. But I'm happy to answer any questions and if you get this and take it home and look at it anytime in the next month before our next meeting, you shoot me an email, give me a call. Why do we do this instead of that? Can we do this? I mean, I'm happy to entertain any of those questions or comments.
one of the biggest changes, before you ask any questions, in doing calendars currently and the way that they used to do for a lot of us when we were in school is you don't think about days anymore. It's minutes. It's instructional hours in school and where you get those hours and how you make those hours up. 10 minutes a day can be 3 days of instruction. So when you're looking at calendars, don't think about the 185 days. It's the 1,025 hours that we're worried about.
And I'll say, I don't know if any of you were involved when this happened, but it was probably 15 years ago. I'm looking at some of my emeritus school board members, but we had to run Saturday makeup days the week. If we missed a Monday for snow, we had a Saturday makeup day because we had to get 185 days in. And, we also we had to do the Saturday day the same week as we missed because we couldn't pay people overtime to work 6 days. So that 185 was really, really restrictive. And the way we solved it here was the Saturday day, which I think universally was loathed by families and staff and everybody else. And it really was not an effective use of time. So the minutes really gives us the flexibility to make sure we're using our instructional time for instruction.
One year, Mr. Blackstock, we used a Memorial Day Monday for a makeup day.
Yeah, that went over well.
Oh, really well.
The
The superintendent at the time decided to ride the bus that day to Corolla. That's how we were transporting students, and we got out at 12:30. He made it back to Manio at 7. So that didn't happen again.
The attendance on a Saturday school day at best was about 30%.
Yeah.
On a good day.
Good times.
Any question for Mr. Blackstock?
I have one, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Blackstock, the current model that you have right now, I'm thinking about the semesters. You say that they're done, first semester's done prior to Christmas break, is that correct? And that's going on right now?
Correct.
Okay. I'm curious how that's affecting them. I know you said you spoke with some teachers and stuff, and
we
they say it's a struggle to get it all in.
Right. The student advisory, but yeah, I'd love to hear.
I was wondering, just from y'all's point of view, if you feel any extra pressure to hurry up, let's get this done before Christmas break, or would it be better because they say there's 10 extra days on the other side of the Christmas vacation that they got extra? Would it be beneficial to just take the first semester on out past into the new year and use those 10 extra days for instruction or whatnot?
For the most part, I haven't seen that much of a change, but I've heard some teachers complaining here and there about how hard it is to, squeeze that 90-day lesson plan into, was it 78 days? And that's pretty substantial change. That's about 2 weeks. And then I'm in an internship right now, and Dare County internships, I don't know how it is in other places, but I know here we have to get 120 hours in the semester in our internship to get credit for it. I'm pretty good about getting to my internship, but I know some other people aren't, and having a shortened semester makes it harder to get those hours if you struggle to get there. So some people are falling behind, and they might not be able to get their credit. That's one thing that I've seen, how it's affected people. But I think also, though, there is a benefit to taking your finals before Christmas break because, you do kind of forget something. I'm bad at math. And if I had to take a math final right after Christmas break, I don't know if I'd pass it. But if I had to take it beforehand, I feel like I'd do a lot better.
Okay.
So there's pros and cons.
Sure.
I think that with this being the first year that we've done this, it's a learning curve for teachers and students to get used to it. But if we tried it for another year or two, reevaluate it. There could be some upsides to it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So I'm actually in a math class right now, and I'm very grateful that I don't have to take my math exam after Christmas break because knowing me, I go out of town and I probably would not be doing any math. So I think that's a good thing, but I have noticed that a couple of my teachers are getting a little bit I don't want to say stressed, but I don't really know how else to put it. But with the shorter semester days, but I think that after this year, they'll have a better understanding of how to shorten like their lesson plans and get everything in. So I do believe that in the upcoming years, this is a great idea and we'll get there and it'll be smoother.
Yeah, I also agree. I do think it's ultimately going to be beneficial to everybody just because I think students once they hit like Christmas break, you're checking out of your classes, you're not ready to go back and take exams. So I think once we troubleshoot problems, it's going to be beneficial.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Mr. Blackside, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the report. Well informed. This concludes our business meeting tonight. So at this time, I'm going to reach out to our student advisories to comment tonight, and then we'll move around the table to our board members.
The biggest thing I want to comment on is the food for thought. I've seen personally how it affects people and how helpful it is, and I think it shows everybody's commitment to the students and the community, and I think it's something that is really honestly just beautiful. And so whoever runs that, congrats and kudos to you.
Going off of what Elizabeth said, I think that is really truly an amazing thing that we are doing, and I love to see that. I also want to say congratulations and welcome to the new board members. I can't express how excited I am to finish out the rest of my school year with you guys.
All right, and I'm going to piggyback off of what Skylar said. It's great to see some new faces up here. I'm, can't say I don't miss the old ones. I love those guys. But I'm excited to get to know the new faces up here. I'd like to circle back to Marcus's Eagle project. That was an amazing project. I'm in a troop with Marcus. He and I have gone through Scouts together since we were in elementary school. That was one of the best Eagle Scout projects I've ever seen. Had a great impact, and I'm really glad he got the recognition he deserved tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Brower?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome all the new members. I do look forward to working with you. A couple of things that I managed to get to and participate in the last month. I attended an event that was for parents of students at Kitty Hawk Elementary School. It was Dr. Colvin's Coffee with Dr. Colvin or something like that. And it was held at a local coffee shop. We had the school nurse there, and the topic was, basically when to keep your kid back from school, what attendance policies are. And you got a lot of younger parents at the elementary school level. I think as far as outreach and making herself accessible, to the community, it was a grand slam. It was really good, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Also, I did get to see the debut opening night of Radium Girls, and that was fantastic. A lot of talent, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the spring musical this year. It's going to be the Addams Family.
Thank you. Mr. Wicker?
Just like to welcome all the new board members. Look forward to working with you.
Ms. Lee?
First of all, I want to thank everybody that was here tonight, for all the new board members, for all the friendly faces and positive comments. And I'm that weird person that loved group projects. So I'm looking forward to lots of group projects. I enjoy working with a team of people, not just one or two, but everyone. And I know at times it'll be a committee here or whatever, but I really do enjoy the camaraderie of a team. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I love our student advisors. I think the heartbeat of this evening is hearing what they have to share at the beginning and then kind of wrapping it up as to what they took out of the meeting. And so I really, really enjoy that. And I've sat in all these meetings throughout the last year, and I've enjoyed the heck out of that part of it, is hearing what the kids have to say. And I loved your perspective tonight on the school day, the year at this point, because as a former teacher, I understand that side of things, how it's very difficult to try and get all your lesson plans done and get everything covered. But from a student perspective, I would have been like you. It's like, man, I don't want to have to take that math exam or that, calculus exam after Christmas. No, thank you. So I appreciate your honesty and candor in that. And also, I want to thank my husband. Today is our anniversary of 35 years. And so, yay! So it makes today a doubly special day to be here. And I just look forward to working with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Bright?
Thank you, sir. Couple things real quick. I was really pleased to hear the academic growth that was reported here tonight. I think that shows outstanding involvement with our educators and our students. And if we can make that trend continue, that would be great for our whole system. So we'll be looking at that. On the theater arts, Kay Patters had Harry Potter. It was a fabulous show. Like you said, there's a lot of talent in these kids in our county, and I hope everybody could take some time and support them by, getting your ticket and going and watching them. Another thing that really touched my heart here tonight was that the students were supporting the Helene victims in the other end of our state. We have regularly relied on outside people to help us recover when we have disasters in our area, and it helps my heart to know that we're returning that to our neighbors out in the western part of the state. Marcus Simmons, Eagle Scout Project, outstanding young man. That's all I got to say. Really appreciate your efforts on that. Alex Chandler with the transportation going to, was it Ohio?
Idaho.
Going to Iowa to represent our state. What else can you say? We're leaders here, and we're going to try to continue that. Final thing for me is I want to be touring the schools on Hatteras Island in the next week. Got some appointments made. If any other board members would like to accompany, I'll put those dates out there. And if you guys get a walk through your school anytime, I'd appreciate an invite because I need to get my eyes on stuff. So if they say the freezer went out at Manio Middle School, I don't know if it's a 3-door reach-in or a 10-by-20 walk-in. So I just need to be familiar with the facilities. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. Hope you guys will invite me to your schools and let's walk around and see those. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Bateman?
Lord, y'all give me a microphone. This could get interesting.
Somebody told me to hold off on that.
Well, first I want to say I'm very excited. I'm very thrilled to be up here sitting with each one of you, ready to go to work and have some fun at the same time. If I can't have fun at work, I don't want to be there. And dag, if we ain't gonna have some fun. I think I was telling Mr. Payne and a few others, I want other school boards around the state to be looking at us and saying, man, we need to be more like them. That's my goal. That's my vision. And I think we can pull it off. I think we can do it. We got great commissioner support. I'm glad to see some of them here this evening. And I'm just really excited to move forward. The student advisors, y'all are going to see me a lot. I'm all around, all over the place. One thing, my 10-year-old's going to kill me. But one thing that we will not have is what they call the Skibbity Ohio Riz these days. Yeah, I just said that. Yeah. Is that bad? Oh, Lord. Mr. Bass Knight, I think I'm in trouble. But regardless, a couple things.
I moved to strike that from the minutes.
I did get out to the Manio tree lighting this past Friday night. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. The Manio High School chorus did a great job singing. Manio Elementary School's chorus, fantastic job as well. Went to the parade on Saturday. Witnessed all the different floats and everything and all the school involvement. I thought that was really neat, really nice. A couple things coming up that I just want to mention real quick. The Dare Education Foundation signature event is coming up on January 31st. The tickets are on sale right now at dareeducationfoundation.org. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please do so. It's to support the DEF and all the things that they do and the things that they support. It's going to be at 108 Budley again this year with dueling pianos. So to anybody that's watching, paying attention, please consider buying the ticket and then participating in that. Also, Manio Elementary School's winter concert chorus winter concert is this coming Thursday evening. I believe it starts at 6:30. Like, be nice to see some of y'all there if possible. And again, just to kind of go back to what I was saying, I'm excited. I want y'all to be excited. I want y'all to be excited. And let's go to work.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Payne?
I'm excited. First of all, I want to thank the members of the board for their confidence in David and myself. Thank you so much. Ditto on a number of things that the board members said. Harry Potter, amazing. The majority of those actors and actresses were age 14 and under. They did a phenomenal job. You would not think that they were age 14. You think they're 18. Sat with Mr. Bass Knight that night, and that's what we talked about all night was, oh my gosh, look at the talent in Hatters. That was amazing. So Harry Potter was phenomenal. Good Guys for Cancer basketball tournament was another success this year. If you didn't get a chance, great high school basketball tournament, probably one of the best in the U.S. without question. If you haven't seen the artwork the Manio High School students did at Dowdy Park on Bonnet Street, I've been by it 6 or 7 times and stopped and looked at it. It's amazing. They did a great job. Once again, Marcus, whew, unbelievable. Young man's got a bright future. And I always say, seniors, please look at COA, Dare County Guarantee. Get to go to school for free, thanks to the commissioners, for college credit and your CTE certificates. So please take a look at that. And lastly, new board members, looking forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you all. Mr. Twitty.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. First of all, tonight, I'd like to thank the community of Dare County for voting me back in for my 3rd term. It would not have been possible without the community support, and it means a lot to me, and I appreciate the community of Dare County. Second of all, I welcome our new board members tonight. Looking forward to work with each and every one of you and putting your trust as me being your leader as a chairman of the Board of Education. It means a lot to me. I'll certainly do 110% to honor you as Dare County Board, and looking forward to working the next 12 months in this role, certainly. As y'all seen tonight with the students giving their updates, I wish we could have a whole night of recognitions and updates of what our schools do. It is unbelievable the power that our students put into it. And they get that from the power of the teachers and the staff throughout that school district. I mean, it's just unreal and it's amazing. And just to piggyback on some of the programs that I've watched over a few days is the basketball tournament. Mr. Williams, First Light High School, outstanding. Several schools. I mean, they started Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday night, Saturday night, right on up until midnight to put this program together. Unbelievable. A lot of schools, a lot of talent. A whole lot of talent. The art program at Manio, the winter program at Manio Elementary School, like I say, it's just unbelievable. And I'm very fortunate to be part of a wonderful school district. And before we end tonight, Mr. Bateman, you were talking about having involvement and knowledge, as I've got to give a shout out to Mr. Woodard, our chairman of commissioners, and now our current board member, Ms. Balance, County Commissioner. We were able to do a workshop for the North Carolina School Board Association of basically how to bridge the gap between the Board of Education and the county commissioners. As we say here in Dare County, we're very fortunate. But let me just tell y'all, building that relationship has been remarkable. It happened before me. We have 2 young ladies out here tonight, Miss Laura and Miss Bass Knight, that was part of building that bridge. And in that presentation, we started out, give or take, about 35, 40 seats. By the 5 minutes of that presentation, it was packed. There was no seats available. They were bringing seats in. They were standing out in the hallway listening to this presentation. And the outcome from that, the emails that I've been getting, Ms. Balance and Mr. Woodard, personally, and the School Board Association realizes that we have something great here in Dare County. And we were not there to brag. We were there to educate the state of North Carolina. And that's what we're here to do. And that is remarkable how we do that in the future. So with that being said.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
if I
sir.
could, because I'd like to piggyback off several of those things. One, congratulations to all our new board members. Looking forward to working with you. I've had the incredible opportunity recently to attend several statewide meetings. And I can't begin to tell you the number of people that come up to me and say, you know, I saw Dare County Schools was doing this and you know, why that y'all are doing that. Y'all are doing some really great things. Not just the amount of things that's going on, but the variety and the degree to which they're being done. We have to thank our staff members who are doing those things, who are going above and beyond what goes on in their classroom every day to make those things, those opportunities available for our kids. And I just want to say thank them at the end of this year, into first semester, for everything they do beyond their regular day job. Do want to say that next week's exam week for the end of first semester, so you guys need to study. And finally, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone in Dare County Schools, to our students, our families, and our community. We're in a very special place. And if you don't believe it, just drive in any direction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all this evening for joining us. And if I can have a motion on the floor to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Payne. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Bright. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Aye carries. Good night.